Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Police in Flagstaff, Arizona have announced that they've found the remains of missing 45-year-old mother Kelly Paduchowski, who was reported missing on June 30th by her husband Daniel. Daniel originally told police that Kelly had left their home to go for a run and a swim and never returned, which launched an extensive week-long search for her. But police knew Daniel's story wasn't adding up the day after he reported her missing, when her cell phone data didn't match what he told them, coupled with the neighbors who told police they heard Kelly screaming at their home the day she went missing, then saw her motionless body laying in her backyard. Then, later that day, they saw Daniel hosing down the area where she was seen laying. Once they had reason to believe Daniel had done something horrible to Kelly, he was arrested and charged with assault, and police announced that they had reason to believe Kelly may have been a victim of homicide.
Flagstaff police believe a mother reportedly went missing on Sunday was murdered.
The husband of 45-year-old Kelly Paduchowski has now been arrested for aggravated assault. Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez is live from Campbell Mesa Trailhead, where the search and recovery efforts are now underway. Ashley, what a turn of events in this story.
Absolutely, and we're told crews are out here right now combing through this area looking for Kelly. They start searching for her Sunday night, really believing that she could be out here alive. But this afternoon, Flagstaff police telling us that they have evidence that points to this effort now becoming a recovery effort, and crews are now looking for her body. Her husband could be the one who murdered her.
There was nothing to indicate, while I knew them, that there was anything amiss.
The once neighbor of Kelly Paduchowski, Mark Pearson, tells me he heard about his longtime friend's disappearance Tuesday morning. What he didn't know was her husband, Daniel Paduchowski, was behind bars and being investigated for her murder.
It seemed like he also had a pretty even disposition. So, behind closed doors, who knows?
It's behind closed doors inside the couple's shared home in the Coconino Estates. Flagstaff police say they found evidence Daniel assaulted her.
Something occurred.
Exactly when the alleged assault happened is not clear. But police say the timeline of Kelly's disappearance began Sunday morning, all within a matter of 3 hours. On Sunday, June 30th, the 45-year-old's phone shows it was located in the area of the Schultz Creek Trail at 10:20 a.m. Her husband Daniel was observed in the same area an hour later. Then her phone returns back to their home around 12:13 p.m. Her white Mazda CX-5 and Daniel are both observed at the Campbell Mesa Trailhead around 1:30. You can see the photos of Daniel at the trailhead here. It was around 7:39 p.m. that night when police say Daniel reported her missing in the area of Lake Mary. The search and rescue begins.
This investigation is ongoing, and the number one priority is to locate Kelly. However, based on the current evidence, information is believed Kelly may be a victim of a homicide.
Very sad update there. And we learned that Kelly worked as a solar panel specialist. As you mentioned, she is a mother. They tell us that she has 2 children currently staying with family members. As for the crews out here, they're going to continue their recovery efforts tonight.
After an exhaustive, nearly week-long search for Kelly, police held a press briefing announcing that her husband had accepted a plea deal from the state, which included him telling police where Kelly's body could be found and where her cell phone and keys were hidden. That was how Kelly Paduchowski was finally found.
What's unusual about this case is that the husband was named a suspect in this right away, and it seems to be because of some key evidence, some testimony from some neighbors. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so according to neighbors, they actually heard a woman screaming around 8:30 in the morning. And I do want to warn you that some of this information is a little bit graphic. And after they heard a woman screaming, they saw Kelly lying face down with her husband, Daniel, on top of her, hands on her shoulders. This was Sunday morning before that bike ride, he alleged, around 10:30. Now, documents also say neighbors saw Daniel spraying down that area where Kelly was with a hose. And then when police went to talk to Daniel later, that's when they saw fresh blood in the house that also led to him being one of the main suspects in this. And also on this, police say that they talked to Kelly's family, which allowed them to arrest Daniel on aggravated assault charges. He's sitting in the Coconino County Jail, which is slightly behind me, on a bond of $500,000.
Mason, do we know of any past issues between these two, any sort of instances of domestic violence? Obviously, that's something that might come up in today's press conference.
Not that we know of right now. Now, we've tried to reach out to neighbors in this area. The day before this information came out about neighbors seeing what they saw, we actually talked to the neighbors next door. They didn't have anything to say other than that the couple were great neighbors. We went back there the next day after we found out that this was the house where they saw something, knocked on the door, waited. They were not around. We've tried to go around and talk to people in the neighborhood. No one really has anything to say. Again, this is really unusual for Flagstaff, but when we do run into people in the community, you know, it's really just thoughts and prayers for the family. A lot of the people in town that we've talked to have either known Kelly or know someone who knows Kelly. You know, this community is really tight here, so I know that the community is relieved to at least have some news and condolences for the family.
In my last video, sharing out the information that Kelly was missing, I mentioned that the media stated she had a 10-year-old son, but other media outlets are mentioning that she had children now, not just one son, and that they're currently in the care of family. My heart breaks for her babies. Their mother is gone forever, and their father is a killer. But he won't be locked up forever, because he only pled to second-degree murder for Kelly's death. Wait until you hear the police press briefing that I'll play for you at the end of this video to hear how very little time he will actually be serving for killing his wife, the mother of his children, in the state of Arizona. I'll be praying for Kelly's children, her family, and loved ones, that they find the strength to deal with the evil that came over their family to destroy it. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the press briefing with more details given by police. Stay safe out there, and here is the press conference.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here at the Flagstaff Police Department. My name is Charles Fernandez, and I'm a lieutenant with the Flagstaff Police Department. Today we're here to provide an update regarding the investigation involving Mrs. Kelly Paduchowski, and you will hear from Flagstaff City Mayor Becky Daggett. You'll also hear from Flagstaff Police Chief Sean Connolly, and then Senior Attorney from the Coconino County Attorney's Office, Michael Tunick, will provide a statement. However, he will not take questions at this time. And then we will also hear from Operations Deputy Chief Colin C. So you've all been provided a list of who's going to speak. At this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Becky Daggett to provide her words.
First off, I would just like to express our sincere condolences to Kelly's family and to her many friends, and to thank law enforcement for their professionalism and their diligence in this case. It was handled the way any of us would wish that a case involving a loved one of ours would be handled, so thank you. And lastly, to our community who stepped in and stepped up to help and help stretch resources, search and rescue resources. Thank you to this community that always shows up. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That's a lot coming from you. We appreciate it very much. Good afternoon. Love, strength, and condolences. So on behalf of every member of this amazing and elite police department, we want to send you our condolences, our strength, and our love, not only to the community, but to Kelly and her entire family and all her friends. Since the moment I sat in the living room with Kelly's family, I cannot tell you how impressed I have been with their strength and their resolve in handling this incredibly tragic situation. So on behalf of all of us, we just want to pause for 1 second and make sure we recognize this incredible family and this incredible woman and her children and how strong they have been through this entire process. They've been a gift to us as we embarked upon this. I also want to make sure it's understood very clearly that nothing in this profession of policing happens in a silo or by any one individual or any one organization. This is the ultimate team sport when it comes to collaboration. And I want to thank the Coconino County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Driscoll. I want to thank the Yavapai Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Rhodes. I want to make sure I thank the Department of Public Safety on the back end. And just thanks to everybody in all of these organizations for their steadfast work. You know, it's been 6 days since we received this first call and the Coconino County Sheriff's Office responded. And so let this be a testament and a demonstration to everybody in this community, this amazing community, about the resolve and the commitment and the aptitude of the men and women that on a daily basis go out and perform this noblest of professions. And then the reason we do all of this is for our community. And you heard the mayor speak about this. We would not be here if it were not for our community. And I cannot tell you how impressed we all are with the amount of information that has flowed into this organization from this community, the amount of interest and compassion. I was at a barber, I've been at the dry cleaners, I've been to restaurants and businesses, and this has been on everybody's mind. And so when communities are not indifferent and they are engaged at this level, these are the outcomes that you have. I have to pause too and just want everybody to recognize the amount of work it takes to get to this point. When you look at the prowess of this investigative team here at the Flagstaff Police Department in partnership and interwoven into the patrol division here, it is incredibly impressive. It is incredibly impressive. And so I personally and all of us in leadership in the city and in this police department just want to make sure that this investigative team that you see over here, that is where justice happens on behalf of Kelly as a victim in this community. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, and I appreciate it so much. So with that, let me introduce Senior Attorney with the Coconino County Sheriff's Office, Michael Tunick.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Tunick. I'm the Senior Criminal Attorney at the Coconino County Attorney's Office, and I'll be reading from a prepared statement today. Earlier today, we reached an agreement in which the defendant, Daniel Paduchowski, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, concealment of a dead body, and possession of dangerous drugs. This agreement requires the defendant to serve a 16-year term in the Arizona Department of Corrections, which is the presumptive sentence for second-degree murder under Arizona law. Defendant must serve every day of this sentence and is not eligible for early release of any kind. As part of that agreement, the defendant provided information leading us to Kelly Paduchowski, the deceased victim, led us to her phone, her car keys, and the murder weapon. Defendant further agreed to an interview, which was completed this afternoon. In that interview, he answered all questions posed about the sequence of events and about his actions on June 30th, 2024. This agreement is the culmination of many hours of work between Coconino County Search and Rescue, Flagstaff Police Department, and the Coconino County Attorney's Office. We appreciate the thorough and really exemplary investigation done by the Flagstaff Police Department and the Coconino County Sheriff's Office, who also assisted with us. And that investigation really made this resolution possible. This is obviously a monumental tragedy for Kelly's family and her loved ones. We've been in close communication with Kelly's family throughout this process about this resolution, which we pursued to bring finality in a situation that has weighed heavily on this community. As the criminal case is still ongoing, our office will not be answering further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tunick. I'm Colin C. I am the Deputy Chief of Operations for the Flagstaff Police Department. It truly is an honor to serve the men and women of this operations division who investigated this case this week. I'm going to give you an operational overview of the week for the Flagstaff Police Department. But first, I'd like to reiterate the condolences for Kelly Paduchowski and her family and our Flagstaff community that loved her. Our number one priority in this case the entire time was to locate Kelly and bring her back to her family. I'd also like to personally thank all the members of the Flagstaff Police Department who came together and worked long hours this entire week to bring this investigation to where it is now. On the evening of June 30th, around 8 p.m., the defendant in this case and the husband of Kelly, Daniel Paduchowski, called the Flagstaff Police Department Communications Center to make them aware of his wife being missing in the area of Lake Mary. And she was supposed to be on a run and swim in the area. This statement was later discovered to be an attempt to misdirect police resources. Kelly's family was able to locate Kelly's vehicle at the Campbell Mesa Trailhead, which is located on the opposite side of town, approximately 3 hours from the original call from Daniel. This led to the activation of the Coconino County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Division. Search and rescue operation immediately commenced, which involved nearly 50 search and rescue members from the Coconino County Sheriff's Office and the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. This operation included ground searches, mountain bike searches, search dogs, drone technology, and the Department of Public Safety helicopter, all in an attempt to locate Kelly. There were approximately 60 registered community members who registered with our search and rescue team to attempt to locate Kelly, and countless other searchers from our community who were out trying to search for Kelly this entire week. In the morning hours of July 1st, our Criminal Investigations Division made discoveries at the Paduchowski shared residence that turned this case into a homicide investigation, and that Kelly had probably either been seriously hurt or possibly killed by Daniel in this case. We asked our community for information about Daniel or Kelly and their vehicles on Sunday, June 30th, and we were able to build this case based on Flagstaff coming together as a community and giving us great information and evidence. Our detectives were able to leverage technology in this case, which matched the multiple witness accounts of Daniel's movements on Sunday, June 30th. Earlier today, and sadly, our detectives learned of Kelly's location, and we also discovered critical items of evidence in this case. We regrettably learned that Kelly had been a victim of homicide by her husband Daniel, which pains each and every member of this organization and community. The Flagstaff community came together with its police department to solve this case. It could not have been done without our community. We humbly and proudly serve this great community, and this is an example of how quickly we can come together as one strong community. Thank you, and I can answer a couple of questions if you have any.
Was anyone else arrested in this investigation?
No.
Were there any 911 calls early on? And I know the timeline has it, but there was a struggle in the backyard. Was there any 911 calls during that time to tell you guys that something's up?
No.
When is it possible for us to get like a full timeline of everything that happened?
We'll probably be releasing that probably in the weeks to come as the investigation unfolds.
I know you guys aren't releasing exactly where the investigation and where she was found for the investigation. Was it in one of the areas where Daniel reported it originally, or where Search and Rescue was looking?
Yeah, I can tell you we received information from the community that did put Daniel in one side of the Flagstaff community, and she was located on that side of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.